This is Babi Guling, a spit-roasted pig that is one of Bali's most delicious foods. And this is a grilled cheese sandwich. It's one of Chef Tyler's most delicious foods. Oh, you don't know who I am? Okay, well, I'm Chef Tyler, and let me explain what's going on here. I'm on a mission to make the world's best grilled cheese sandwich. And to do that, I'm traveling to new countries and searching for new foods and flavors to use in my grilled cheese. Today's journey has brought us to Ubud, Bali. While we're here, we have three goals. First, to learn how Babi Guling is made by invading the kitchen of Ubud's most famous Babi Guling restaurant. And I do mean invade. I never got their permission, so hopefully they're cool about it. Number 2 is to try Babi Guling. I've never had it before, so we're gonna try this one together. And number 3 is to transform this iconic Balinese food into a grilled cheese sandwich in hopes that it might be the world's best grilled cheese. Let's start off with our invasion of Ibu Oka 3. It's called Ibu Oka 3 because there are 3 restaurants called Ibu Oka, and this is number 3. Real creative, right? Well, each restaurant gets 1 pig per day, and Ibu Oka 3 is where all 3 of those pigs are roasted every morning. I had heard that the pigs typically cook from 3 a.m. to 10 a.m., so I showed up at 7 a.m. not knowing what to expect because this was long before the restaurant opened at 11 a.m. Hello. Hello. I'm coming to take video of the cooking. Okay. Is that okay? Yeah, thank you. Step 1 of our restaurant invasion was going very well, but surely we'll have a little bit more of a problem when we try to go in the kitchen.
Hello? Yeah?
Yeah.
You can select it.
Okay, perfect, thank you. Or not, I guess. I didn't even have to explain myself. The guy just pointed me to the pigs and he said, go check it out. Since I've never seen Babi Guling being cooked before, I really didn't know what to expect, which means that I was really surprised when I walked in and saw 3 men turning these pigs by hand. But after watching for a few more minutes, it started to make sense to me. The fires had to be carefully monitored and adjusted to ensure that they were putting off an even amount of heat across the whole pig so that one part wouldn't cook faster than the other. And since they're turning these by hand, if the fire does get too hot at any point, they can turn the pig to where it needs to be and make the adjustments to the fire that are necessary all in an instant. This is the key to getting that perfectly even golden brown crust on the outside, which is going to give us some incredibly delicious pig skin later. This also forms an outer shell on the pig, which keeps more of the juices inside, which means that we are not going to have to worry about dry meat in this pig at all. After checking out the cooking process, I headed downstairs where I was able to see some of the live pigs that would become some of the next meals coming up. Yeah, I'll be honest, this felt a little messed up, but I think if you eat meat, you gotta know where it's coming from. I also saw where some of the intestine pieces had been cleaned and chopped up into small pieces, and these are going to be fried later and served with a Babi Guling as a side. Speaking of sides, one of the most popular sides to serve with Babi Guling is lawar. It seems like everybody's got their own recipe for lawar, but in general it's a mixture of some chopped up vegetables, coconut, some chilies, and spices. I might upset some people for even making this comparison, but I think you can think of lawar as the Indonesian equivalent of coleslaw. Both of these dishes offer some bright, fresh, sweet flavors that pair very well with some barbecue. Another thing that I thought was cool about watching this lawar being made is that they're using fresh coconuts, which means that they came in husks, and when they removed the husks from the coconuts, instead of throwing them out, they actually threw them into the fire to help cook the pig. It's a pretty cool way of reducing waste, and because the coconut husks do smoke quite a bit when they're being burned, I think it's a great way to add flavor to the pork. Now that we know a bit more about Babi Guling, it's time to give it a proper taste test. So I came back when the restaurant was fully opened around 11. Here it is, the famous Babi Guling. What we ordered is the special, and it costs 65,000 Indonesian rupiah, which is about $4. It's a base of white rice, some lawar. These look like they're fried pieces of the pork skin. We also have a big slice of the pork skin, which I've heard does sell out. If you want that, make sure you come early. Sliced pieces of the pork up on top with some sambal, which is like a chili paste spread that's really common in Bali. It also looks like we have a piece of blood sausage here too. Well, let's give it a shot. Let's start with the main attraction, some of the Babi Guling with some rice. Oh, that's really good. It's super tender. Pork, when you cook it, obviously can become very stringy because of the fibrous structure of the meat. But this one it's really tender. Like obviously it still has some stringiness to it, but it's not dry at all. It's very moist. This is good. And I actually will say the sambal is not very spicy. So even if you have a mild spice tolerance, I think you'll be all right with this. It's not very heavy feeling either. It's almost refreshing, which is wild for a pork dish. Let's try some lawar. Very like lemongrass chili flavored. So the lawar is like, I would almost see it as like a seasoning to the pork. Like it's another, if you wanted to add more chili, more like bright lemongrassy flavors, I think it's really good. You can add that with your bite. If you eat it all together, it's really good actually. Let me try one of these crispy pork pieces. It's crispy. We've got one more thing here that I haven't tried, which is the pork skin. A lot of people say this is their favorite part, so I'm excited. I'm just gonna take a bite out of it and experience it fully on its own. You get just like crispy pork cracker on the outside. It's got a layer of pork fat on the inside that's like super juicy. It's like eating pork butter potato chips. I think if you keep eating a little bit of that with the rice and the pork, it's really good. I also just realized I didn't eat the blood sausage yet. Let's give this a taste. Definitely some lemongrass and chilies in there. This is actually probably the spiciest thing on the plate. It's different from a lot of the other blood sausages I've had. Like in Spain, it's usually like meatier and they don't do much in terms of spices, I feel like. This one definitely has a lot of bright flavors. Yeah, I like all this. I'm gonna just clean this plate, no problem.
After finishing up my lunch, I went and ordered a second plate to go with an extra portion of the pig skin since that was my favorite part. We're going to be using all of these things to make a Babi Guling grilled cheese sandwich, and I have really high hopes about this one because there's a lot of strong but complementary flavors going on, and all of them should work well with this grilled cheese. I know that sometimes it seems like I'm just slapping random ingredients on a sandwich, but I actually do approach each one of these sandwiches in the same way I would approach creating a recipe. You have to think about what each ingredient does for the overall flavor to help you decide how much to add. Grilled cheese is already pretty fatty on its own, so adding fatty pork pieces to it is going to make this sandwich incredibly dense. I found that the best way to balance out food that is too heavy is to add some acidity or spice. Luckily, the lawar and blood sausage both contain chilies, and the sambal contains chilies and vinegar, so when we combine all these things together, it should create a nice balanced sandwich. I know it might seem weird to make a food feel lighter by adding more ingredients to it, but fat and acidity work together like yin and yang. If there's too much fat, you'll finish the meal laying on the ground, and if there's too much acidity, you'll have heartburn for the rest of the night. You have to find the balance between the two to really let all the flavors work together in harmony. I chose to go pretty light on the cheese on this sandwich, so don't expect much of a cheese pull, but that's okay because the most important part is the flavor. The sandwich was super crunchy because of the toasted bread, but also because of the crispy pork skin that I put inside of it. The spice and fat were very well balanced, which helped this sandwich earn a delicious 9 out of 10 rating. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you check out the other videos I've released in this series. We've already been to Vietnam, Nepal, Singapore, Kazakhstan, and now Indonesia, with many more countries on the way.